Hello there, all you wonderful, beautiful ladies and gentlemen of the internet. It is I, your boy, here, Hazuki Warrior, 921, bringing you another episode, or part 2, to video games I think you should play before you die. So yeah, okay, let's get into the next series I want to talk about. Okay guys, this is a game series that I was going to wait, I was going to prolong it as long as possible, but I think now is a good time to talk about it because I really wanted to talk about it part 1, and I kind of kicked myself for not doing it. So, and it's a series I'm getting back into now. Let's just get out of the way. This is a franchise that is rising and getting more popular, and I mentioned it briefly. I hinted at what it was in part 1. I didn't say the name of it, but I showed a clip. I showed a 10 5-second clip from the franchise in part 1 when I saw our run, so that's a dead giveaway. And I'm surprised Johnny Millennium did not talk about this one, because it's like it is growing, it is popular. And that would be the Yakuza series, the Yakuza game series, the Like a Dragon series, or Judgment. There's also Judgment, and I'm not holding a copy of Judgment. This is Yakuza 0, a remake of 1 and 2 Kiwami games. You can play any of these and you'd have a great time. I know a lot of new fans, including myself, say to start with Yakuza 0, which is a great start. Yes, I think you should start with this game story-wise. This is like a great place to start with, or maybe Yakuza Aishin Like a Dragon, the remake of that game. But gameplay-wise, this game and Aishin both are very evolved and modern compared to what there was before. Really a decent. It's not a great first impression on the series, maybe, but it's kind of the black sheep of the series. Yakuza 3 Remastered might not be a bad start because gameplay-wise, it's very bare bones compared to what this game shows you. But narrative-wise, it takes place way after this game does. So it's up to you where you want to start. And every Yakuza game tells you what happened in the previous titles. There's a section to go to hey, what happened in previous events. It will tell you what happened beforehand. At least 6 does that. I don't know if 4 or 5 do it, but I'm just started 4 and I'm loving 4. I was not the biggest fan of 3, but I thought it was alright. The story was pretty good, but the gameplay was But Yakuza 3 was a good game. I'm going to review it soon. Overall, 0 is a classic. This is my favorite game on PS4 easily. I think Yakuza is a franchise everyone in the world should try to get into at least once. It is heavily Japanese, though. I hope you're okay with that. The later games are dubbed, but 0 through 6 is all Japanese only. So you got to get behind it because it's a part of how you can enjoy these games. Really, I know that sounds like a bit of a deal breaker, but so what? There's English subtitles. Just enjoy the game. You're gonna enjoy it. Okay, moving on to the next series. Here we go. So the next one is not a series. It's more of a standalone title, but it's kind of like one of those games that could be in the same universe as other games, or one of those products that's like that. Before I get into it, I want to say Yakuza may not be the most accessible to everyone, but every game I'm talking about is not literally accessible to everyone. So you have to have a certain passion to enjoy all these games in general. You have to love something ahead of time to enjoy all those games. So my cat's meowing at me. I don't know what she wants, but just give me a moment. So we have ourselves a co-star here. I don't know what she wants. Oh, you're alright, honey. Okay, go on. I don't know what you want. Go on. I'm making a video. Go. Alright, guys. This next game is actually, like I said, a standalone title. One of my favorite games of all time, and it's what got me into PlayStation as a brand. I watched PewDiePie. The good old-fashioned PewDiePie. Yes, him. Good old-fashioned. PewDiePie way back in 2010 or 11 playing this game. And I was like, I need to play this game. I need a PS3. I was, I think, a sophomore or a junior, 10th, 11th grader at the time in high school. And I was like, as soon as I'm done with high school and get a job and get a debit card, I'm buying this game and then PS3 right away, so I did. Along with the Dreamcast and another game, which I can tell you that story later. Heavy Rain. This is Quantum Dream's best game. Why would I pick this game? Why should everyone in the world play this game? This is a very cinematic type game. A lot of people would argue it's more of an interactive movie, but no, this is the most video game-esque game they have made so far. That's really, besides Detroit Become Human, it's still a game at the end of Indigo Prophecy. That's so good. It has such an amazingly well-told story. It keeps you on your toes the whole time. You're like, what the hell's gonna happen next? Detroit Become Human is another good pick, but it's just not as powerful as this game. This game had a story that is unforgettable, and I think I should definitely talk about this game sometime soon as its own review. It deserves its own game review. I hold a high praise to Heavy Rain, it has fans either love or hate it, I've noticed, and a lot of people aren't really super for it nowadays. But trust me, this game holds up incredibly well. It may not be for you, but this is a game I think you should give a shot at least once to see what it has to offer. It's more so to be experienced for its story. Yes, I know, but the gameplay elements are so really tight. They're really good. This is the best state design so far outside Detroit Become Human. That game technically has better gameplay elements, I guess, than this one does, but they're essentially the same, and Detroit Become Human does have a great story, but it's just not quite the same as this game. So check out Heavy Rain. It is a classic. Alright, moving on to my next example. Okay, this next game is a debatable one because it was a game that had quite a rough beginning. It didn't launch at a great state. It's kind of a trash game, unfortunately, but it's so epic and awesome. I still love this game. It's my favorite current gen game. I don't care what anybody says about that. It's my favorite current generation game. Yes, and it's going to, I think that title's going to stand for a while, because this is a game I'm just constantly enjoying. Yakuza Ishin might be that title, because that is an awesome game too. But this is a game that just, I think it's a gift that keeps on giving. It has so much epicness to it, and I love its world. I think they did a great job with what they're trying to convey, but they could have done better. They could have waited to launch it, but they didn't, and it created this whole controversial problem that will never be forgotten. And that game is none other than the infamous / famous iconic Cyberpunk 2077. I'm hoping that you're familiar with this game, because it's true quite the controversy. But it is such an awesome experience. I think you should give this game a shot at least once in your life to know what it's about. It's not as buggy as it was when it came out. The anime adaptation is fantastic. Please give this game a shot. I think you are in for a ride if you do. That's just my opinion. Moving on to the next game. Here we go. So, this... I revealed it, but that's okay. This next one is a game series I'm still very new to. This is the first one I'm playing, because it's the first one that came out akin to being like it. I think anyone in the world should try at least one of these games in this series at least once to see what they're about. They will kick your ass, they're tough, but they are fun and epic still. That's Demon's Souls. I'm very new to the Souls series. I've been playing Demon's Souls, and this game has been kicking my ass and there's no tomorrow, but I don't care. I'm barely progressing in it, but for some reason I'm still enjoying it. They're very grindy games. They're very grindy games. You gotta get through and try to kick ass and get through it and get your ass kicked at the same time, because it's very tough. They're very hard games, but they are fun, and they're still awesome and epic, and they're heavily inspired by the Berserk series, which is a very tragic series, but that's a big part of why I think you should play these games. They're more than an inspiration. They're straight up like pretty much from the same world as I don't think it is the same world as Berserk, but it's essentially the exact same universe as Berserk in these games. Okay, moving on to the next series. Here we go. Okay guys, this next one is more of a cutesy franchise by Nintendo. They have a lot of those, don't they? But these are games that don't have a single bad title. It's not... At face value, you look at a character like that and a series like that, you're like, I don't want to play that. That doesn't seem like it's for everyone. Like, you have to be a little kid to enjoy this. No, I'm telling you, if you're a full-grown-ass 30-man-year-old adult, and you never played one of these games before, you are doing yourself a misjustice, Buster. I'm telling you. Don't take this game at face value, because these games are a lot of fun, and this is the color to represent for this franchise, okay? Look, man, I played this game when I was a kid. I love them even now. A lot of people have, a lot of people do. It's not a series that you should judge by its cover for sure. The Kirby franchise. Yes, the Kirby games. There's not a single bad Kirby game. I'm just holding up these two as like an example. I also have them on the Switch and Game Boy Advance and I think DS or 3DS. But Kirby is a great series. Kirby is a great, fantastic series. You can't go wrong with any of these picks. They're all wonderful games in my opinion. You can pick up and play either one of them and you'll have a great time. I think this one got released on Switch, Return to Dreamland Deluxe or something. Kirby's Epic Yarn should get a re-release. It's on 3DS, but it should be on Switch. But I said, Forgotten Land's great. The other ones are great. Just play Kirby. Pick up and play a Kirby game. One of the best ones is a Super Nintendo one, and a lot of people consider it to be one of the best Super Nintendo games of all time. So, there you go. Yeah, man, Kirby is a massively important game series, so play it. It's a lot of fun. Okay, moving on to my next example. Alright guys, we're going to keep things going with that Nintendo train a little bit, because I have another Nintendo example right here. Again, not every game I'm showing you is literally accessible to everyone watching this video. I keep repeating myself saying that, the series, because it's true. Not everyone's going to own a PlayStation, a PC, a Nintendo, an Xbox, a Sega. I get that, but still, excuse me, there are ways to play these games. So go and buy one then. I don't know. Like, I don't know. There are ways to play these games outside of the platforms, but you should still play them on what they're made for. As best you can. Okay. This next one is a really amazingly cool example that Johnny, I don't know why he didn't talk about this franchise, but I think I understand kind of why he didn't, because it's not very popular. He talked about franchises that are very popular in his series, but aside from a couple that I added that are popular, but this one though is popular, but it hasn't sold very well. I'll tell you that thing recently because of the remaster of a certain game, Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime Remastered that just came out, and Super Metroid. Yes, the Metroid series. You should play Metroid. You should play a Metroid game. Metroid is a series that's about going around. Yes, you shoot aliens, but you also need to think. You also need to think about what you're doing. And she's like one of the first most badass female protagonists ever, Samus Aran. So again, like I said in part 1, if you're not a male, and most of these games are mostly male-centric, but if you're female and you want to play something where the females kick ass or whatever, here you go, Metroid, the perfect series for you. It's an awesome franchise. I love Metroid, and it inspired me to watch the Alien films. You know, I love those movies, and they inspired me to keep playing these games. I didn't grow up with Metroid or anything like that, but I got more into it after seeing the Alien movies. I'm just like, yes, Metroid's a great series. I love Alien too. Moving on to my next example. Play Metroid. It's an awesome, awesome series. So, moving on. Okay, guys. I was going to say this one for part 3, maybe, but I'll just talk about it now. This is one of my favorite games. This is my favorite game series of all time, next to my other one. And it's actually home to my favorite game of all time. It's an RPG that will probably help you get into more. If you don't like RPGs, if I hate role-playing games, I want to play them. They're not designed very well. I don't like the way they're designed. They make me think. I don't like that. I want to play something that's simple or something. This is a game that will probably inspire you to play more RPGs, because it's a game that you're going to fall in love with. You might not at first, but if you keep trying, I promise you, you will deeply love this game, like everyone else in the world who's played it has. Like, I'm telling you, this is a game that thousands to now, I think millions of people have played and loved, and say it's one of the best games ever made, and it really is. Motherfucking 2. Mother 2. EarthBound! I love EarthBound! This is one of my favorite games ever! It's on the Super Nintendo, right? Like, yeah, it's my favorite game on the Super Nintendo. I love EarthBound. You can play it on Switch Online now. It's on Wii U, 3DS. I love this game. This is the only example I'm going to show, because unfortunately the 2... Mother 1 is great, but really this is the one you should start with. And Mother 3 is a game you should definitely get in the West. It's my favorite game of all time. Mother 3 is my favorite game of all time. Like, besides another franchise, I love Mother 3, but it's not as accessible as EarthBound is now. Thank you, Nintendo, for actually putting this on Switch Online. Please give us Mother 3. Play this game. It's an incredible experience. No, this is not an actual original big box. It is a repro, but I still love that I own this fucking big ass thing. Moving on to the next example. I love EarthBound. Wait a moment. Maybe I should explain why I think you should play EarthBound. Yes, it's designed simple to get into as an RPG game, but it's also about these like 4 kids that go on this big adventure and they travel the Earth. So if you love to travel and if you want to play a game where you feel like a child again, play this game. Plus, if you're a kid, if you're younger than like an adult age and you play this game for the first time, this might make you feel like an adult. I don't know. It says it turns kids into adults and adults back into kids. That's what this game does to people. And I kind of agree with that. Yes, it has that magic to it. It definitely does. It's a very magical experience. Please play it. It's a great time. Moving on to my next example. Sorry, I love EarthBound. And will I ever review this game? Maybe one day. Moving on. It's hard to talk about it on an emotional level. Alright guys, this next example is another one that Johnny talked about in his video. It's a series that's definitely massive, and it's been going on for a long time, and I agree with him that everyone in the world should definitely play this game series at least once. Yes, I do. The Final Fantasy series. I'm specifically holding up the games from 7, except for the new one that came out because I haven't grabbed it yet. But Final Fantasy is a classic series. Play these games. They're awesome. Chrono Trigger kind of falls in the same category as these. Yeah, so I talked about Chrono Trigger already. Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger are basically the same, like, you know, creators or universe and stuff like that, but, well, each Final Fantasy game is its own reality. That's really cool to know. Or that's really cool to do, so to like, get into it. So you can start with any Final Fantasy game and just enjoy it. They're awesome games. EarthBound is a great first RPG experience. So is this game, honestly. I know, like, a lot of people may not like Final Fantasy VII, but it's one of the best games ever made for a reason. Play it, it's important. I recommend these ones. I definitely do. Moving on to the next example. Hey guys, obviously there was a transition for what happened here. You all know the story if you've seen my other videos. I shattered my left forearm. It was during a grind rail incident when I was using my soap shoes. Yes, I own Epic Grind shoes. And I was going to make a video about it, then my arm got broken off the grind. It was only a foot off the ground too, and I landed right on concrete. It's been broken since March 3rd, but it's healing. That's the important part, as you can tell I got a RoboCast now. Alright, moving on to the video. So this next franchise, also, once again, a lot of respect for Kirby Series, rest in peace. This is a brand new shirt my wife got for me just yesterday from filming this, so, okay, moving on. Alright, so guys, as I was trying to say, so this next video game franchise is a really important one to the gaming community that's kind of now dead, but it got a recent revival, but it has a very controversial history with the creator and the parent company that now owns it. I'm hoping you guys know where this is going. It's a franchise that is actually forgotten by a lot of modern, like, by our modern generation, which I found out from my old job, talking to other people about it. But a lot of people haven't heard this franchise. It's very heartbreaking to know that, because it's one of the biggest iconic gaming series of all time, and it surprises me that, like, some people don't even know what it is. And that franchise is none other than the respectable, the honorable, the wonderful, the beloved, I would say, iconic Metal Gear Solid series. I think you should play Snake Eater for sure, or the original game. I already made a video called where to start with Metal Gear Solid. The very first one maybe, but that's just called Metal Gear, maybe. But really, I would play the first Solid or Solid 3, which is the very beginning of like the whole timeline. And this right here is the Legacy Collection, which is like all the games before 5. It originally came in like a 2-disc Blu-ray case, but I used that case for something else. But I got these like custom artwork images. There's like all the games besides 4 right here, and then I showed this off in my Where to Start video, I think. And then this is just Metal Gear Solid 4 that came with the Legacy Collection. I own this game too with the limited edition version, which is right behind me. There it is. And I have to edit this well so I can show gameplay footage. So I'm going to talk for a bit so I can show some gameplay footage. Metal Gear Solid is definitely an iconic series in the video game industry. Yes, it is. It's huge. It's big. It's important. Once again, I'm a little surprised that Johnny, he didn't talk about this, but probably because the Legacy Collection... No. The current collection that's on PS5, PS4, and Xbox and stuff isn't the best. There's frame rate issues with the port and everything. And Konami, man, you know, they're not the best company. They make amazing quality titles. They did back in the 90s and 80s, but they treat employees really badly and stuff. And they're very scummy, like on the inside. It's very unfortunate. And the relationship between Kojima and Konami is very strange and sad. And originally, Kojima really wanted to be done with Metal Gear Solid after the second game. But his situation, I feel like, is very similar to Akira Toriyama's, because Akira Toriyama wanted to end Dragon Ball on multiple occasions, but he just kept going with it, because why the hell not? Like, I don't know, because the editor told him to, I think Shonen and Toei Animation probably told him to. Very similar to what was going on with Kojima. Other people told him to keep going with Metal Gear Solid, and so he made a few more games. And I love all 4 of the Solid games. They're all great. I don't know which one's my absolute favorite, because I love them all very, very much. I think it would technically be Snake Eater. I think Snake Eater, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is the one everyone watching this video should absolutely play. It is considered to be one of the best video games of all time. Just like Ocarina of Time, just like Final Fantasy VII. It's considered to be one of the best video games ever made. It's that important. It's that important of a game. It's a what's the word? It's a fictional historical game that I think takes place a little bit after the Cold War. It takes place in the 60s. But it's a really important game. I think you should definitely check it out. It's an amazing title. And throughout the series, you play as the original Snake, who's a human being, you know, who becomes Big Boss, and then you play as his clone son, Solid Snake throughout the rest of the series. It kind of has like a Star Wars effect, like how the story begins with Anakin Skywalker, and then later on the story is about Luke Skywalker. It's very similar to that dynamic, I would say, between Big Boss and Snake. Even though they don't really have a relationship until like the very end of the timeline, you gotta play these games. They're incredible. They're awesome. There's tear-jerking moments, but there's also larger-than-life, goofy-ass moments. They're rated very similar to like the Yakuza games. That like the Yakuza games are like have the goofy stuff going on. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's fun to watch. But then the serious stuff still happens. There are a lot of controversial issues with these game stories that people have. Again, very similar to Dragon Ball. A lot of people have controversial issues with the Sonic series, the Dragon Ball series, with the stories. And Metal Gear Solid is no different to that, and Zelda as well. Zelda, Metal Gear Solid, Sonic, and Dragon Ball all have controversial issues with their long-running lore and history and story. But even so, it's still an enjoyable time. Play Metal Gear Solid, please. I cannot plead that enough. I highly recommend it. One of my favorite gaming franchises of all time. My second favorite, I think, on PlayStation. Yeah, it is. It is next to the Yakuza games. Absolutely. Please play Metal Gear Solid. They're amazing games. Moving on to the next franchise. Here we go. Okay, you guys. This next one is a personal favorite of mine ever, and it's another obscure title to mostly to everybody, mostly to the game industry, but it's the best design of genre, in my opinion, which is why you should play it. It's another game that Sega made. If Sega made it, it's going to be obscure, unless if it's Sonic or Yakuza, which Yakuza does its best to showcase a lot of historical Sega arcade titles, which is awesome. This franchise is mostly obscure. Apologies about the hair. It's just because of the humidity and stuff. Yes, this game it's very important to me and very important to a lot of people who played it. It's one of the best games on the Sega Saturn. It's a launch title. So what the hell is the Sega Saturn? It's a console Sega made after the Genesis, the Sega CD. It's definitely one of the best titles on that system. It's the first of its kind. There's 4 games in total. Well, 5-ish, not because of the remake. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. It's a game where you ride a giant animal that flies, a mystical animal, a fantasy animal. It is none other than the Panzer Dragoon, the first one. It got a remake on the PS4 and Switch. I think it's on. I don't know if it's on Steam. I don't think it is, or Xbox. But this is a game with this. Why am I talking about Panzer Dragoon? It's exactly why I'm talking about Outrun. Because Outrun is a unique game where it's not about racing, it's about driving, right? Well, and also I think it's one of the best of its kind. This game is a rail shooter game where you fly around and you like hold the button down and you shoot at things. But this game is so gorgeous. There's so much more to it than just a rail shooter. It's got that connection. You know what I mean? Like it's like you have this connection with this dragon. It's an animal bonding game. Like done right, in my opinion. It's so like important and like integrated to the story. And the sequels are the Panzer Dragoon Saga, man. One of the best games of all time. This is the first one, but yes, you should play Saga. But Saga is hard to acquire. This one not so much, which is what I'm talking about. The remake of Panzer Dragoon, and just the soundtrack. That's a big reason why I'm talking about this franchise. This, besides Halo and Zelda, okay, which have amazing soundtracks, and Metal Gear Solid and other franchises too, whatever, and Yakuza and Sonic, Sonic has, it's Sega, so again, but Sonic has amazing music in the series. This game alone, the first one, not 2 and not 3, not Zwei, not Saga, the first one has my favorite soundtrack in a video game ever. This is the best soundtrack I've ever heard in my entire life in a video game. It's severely underrated. Not enough people talk about it. I'm playing music from it right now, probably in the video. You've got to listen to the soundtrack at least, and it is awe-inspiring. It is jaw-droppingly good. It is so unbelievably majestically beautiful. I can express into words and it just flows. Like song after song. There's not a single song you're going to want to skip when you hear this beautiful, just freaking beautiful soundtrack. It complements the gameplay and the story so well. The soundtrack's not enough. It is a big part of it. And I don't just want to talk about the music, because that's not why I think you should play this game. That's not the only reason why I think you should play it, but it's a big important reason why I think you should, for sure. But you've got to play with the music, and you will understand completely why this game is so important to so many people. Holy shit. Panzer Dragoon is an important series. The most important franchise, aside from another one that Sega has ever made. That's highly obscure. This is the most important Sega franchise I think ever made. Sonic and Yakuza are financially the most important. Yes, they're the most popular, but even the most obscure stuff is usually more bigger than the popular stuff, in my opinion, especially when it comes to Sega. This and the next franchise that I might, or another franchise I'm going to talk about, might be the next one, are so important to Sega. You gotta check this game out. I cannot recommend it. Sega didn't have much to do. Did not have much to do with the remake. They sold the rights to this other company, but this is undeniably a Sega game. Still, it plays exactly like the original game. The best rail shooter I've ever played, you betcha. Besides maybe Orta, the fourth game, you betcha it is. And Panzer Dragoon Saga is easily one of my favorite games of all time, besides EarthBound and besides another game. But god damn, you've got to play Panzer Dragoon. It's so good. It connects by center. Okay, moving on to the next series. Here we go. Alright guys, this next one is a personal Nintendo favorite of mine on the GameCube, but it's on the Switch now. All the games are. It's a franchise designed by the godfather of Super Mario himself, Shigeru Miyamoto. This is a big deal to him. He loves this series to death. He wants it to grow and become more popular, and I think it's finally there. It is definitely growing now. And he expressed recently, like a couple months back, that he felt frustrated that for the longest time the series did not pick up. He didn't understand why it wasn't picking up. It should have been growing, and I agree with him. This is a highly obscure series, kind of, but not anymore. It's kind of in the same spot as Yakuza, I would say it is. It is definitely getting more popular as the years go on. It deserves more attention. And that franchise is none other than Pikmin. Pikmin is a game that you play as a bunch of like little critters, and you go around and you have to create more critters, and you help this little guy out named Olimar. This guy right here. He's the main character. And you have to help him get his spaceship designed or fixed, because he crashes on the planet. And there's a lot of mystery to the planet. We all think it's Earth, but it might not be Earth, but it is Earth. I don't know. We don't know what it really is, but it's a planet that's just like Earth. So I think it is. I'm pretty sure it is Earth. This is a franchise you should definitely check out. I think everyone in the world should play this one of these games. Either this one or the third one. 2 is really good, but it goes on forever. Either this one or the fourth one I think you should check out first. Because the fourth one is so well designed. I love it so much. I'm currently playing through 2. It's fun, but it's going on for way too long. I'm considering skipping it, just jumping into 3, because it's like, oh my god, it's gonna take me forever to get through. But Pikmin is a franchise you should definitely check out. It's a great game. Okay, a great franchise. Okay, moving on to the next example. Here we go. All right. Okay, guys, this next franchise is a very big, fat, popular one that's just dumb fun. One of the most highest successful games and franchises of all time. It might be the #1. And it's one that I never took too seriously before. I still kind of don't, but I am having fun with it now. It's a franchise I got more into in my early to mid adulthood life. I haven't beat any of the games yet. I'm just playing through them for fun, and I do appreciate enjoying them to some degree, because a lot of people do, and I get it. I do understand why these games are important to a lot of people and why they're so popular and fun. The Grand Theft Auto series. Grand Theft Auto. I'm holding up Vice City and 5 right now. The 2 most beloved and popular ones as far as I know. I love these games. They're fun. They're awesome. I'm definitely going to play more of this probably today, just because it's just dumb fun. I do love Grand Theft Auto a little bit. I'm enjoying 4 a lot. That's the one I've been playing. PS3 is kind of screwing everything with me right now, so I can't get too much into it at the moment. But I'll definitely play more of these ones. Grand Theft Auto is an awesome series. It's a series that, even though it's like numerical, you can jump into any one of them and just enjoy them. They all have different characters, different stories, different things going on. I don't think any of them really connect, but they might reference events from other games. I have no idea if any of them do that or not, but that's just how they're designed. You can jump into any one of them and just enjoy it. It's a great series. There's really no sequel, no real definitive sequel title from the previous ones. So, just play Grand Theft Auto and enjoy it. It's fun. It's really fun. But it's not technically a franchise anybody can play, because it's rated M for mature, for the adults, just like Metal Gear Solid. But I know kids play these games and still have fun with them, but it's whatever. To each their own. It's the parents' decision at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm definitely going to probably play more of this, because it's so much fun. Alright, I'm going to talk about one more franchise, I think, and then I will end it off into part 3 for next time. Or maybe 2 more, I don't know yet. Okay, here we go. Okay, this next franchise is another one that's kind of forgotten by time,
because it was very big when it came out, and a lot of gamers today just don't really care about it. Kind of like, you know, old films that like really mattered. It's kind of like that, and it really revolutionized what it was doing at the time. And not a lot of games followed its practice, except maybe one other game. It's a franchise I'm very new to, that I'm really enjoying, and it's designed by BioWare. This is probably the best game BioWare has ever made, the best trilogy of games BioWare has ever made, and it holds up incredibly well in my opinion, except for maybe the third one. I'm still playing through one. That franchise is none other than the Mass Effect games. Mass Effect, yeah, Mass Effect. It's a classic series. I think anybody should play it. Anybody should try it out. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. It's an awesome game. I remember back in middle/high school days, my older brother was really into these games so much that he said that they're bigger than Halo and Star Wars. That's what this series is. It's like the next Halo and Star Wars, but like bigger. He was really enjoying these games, and I want to really experience these games because I'm playing through one and it's so good. I'm really enjoying it. And it's a franchise. You have to play one to three. You have to play 1 to 2 to 3. And my favorite game series of all time is designed the same way, and we'll talk about it soon. I gotta be careful with my arm. Sorry. We'll talk about it soon. But yes, you should definitely play Mass Effect. It's a great series. It's a great game. Absolutely. It's unless if you're not into sci-fi stuff, which is okay. Again, not literally every game on here is for everybody, but you can place any gender, so that's cool. It doesn't affect the story at all. But yeah, Mass Effect, great series. Okay, moving on to I'm going to talk about one more important game, and then I think I should end it from there. Yeah, maybe. Okay, here we go. All right, you guys. This next one is pretty important and pretty big. It's on Steam. It's on PS3, PS4, PS5, I think. I don't know, Xbox for sure. My battery's about to die, so I definitely should end it. It's one of the most no-brainer games to play because of how big it is. The Valve games, but mostly I want to talk about Half-Life. Portal and Team Fortress are important as well, but Half-Life is definitely one of the most important games of all time. But please check out the Valve games if you haven't. They're definitely important to the gaming industry. They're big, they're fun, they're just really well designed, they're revolutionary, all the great stuff. We just need a third installment for like all these games, right? I think we got Half-Life 3 finally, didn't we? We kind of did. But yeah, there's a sticker I'm gonna just kill off. Okay, yeah. The orange box. Half-Life, Pro 2, Team Fortress 2. Alright guys, that's it for now. I gotta go charge my camera, and part 3 will come out when I can make it. I have so much more to talk about, and in part 3, it's gonna be the longest one probably. Apologies in advance to that. And there's gonna be a segment where I talk about honorable mentions before I get to my last game. Okay, that's it. Thank you all for watching. Have a great one. Take care. Peace out. Bye-bye.